This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Boom, baby. We are live. It's Friday night, and what better way to spend it than hang out right here in the Paranormal Portal with me. I know I love it. I hope you guys are doing great, have had a wonderful weekend, and all that entails, of course. Beginning to the weekend anyway, sorry. Hope your week has been good and you're in for a good weekend. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Paranormal Portal. I am your host, Brent Thomas, and we'll be expecting Sheldon to show up at some point whenever he's able to be here, which will be wonderful. God, I'm not even really ready. I forgot to do some switching, so I'll be doing it on the fly when he does join. But anyway, we've got a lot to go through tonight. As always, we got 2 full hours, and by God, we're going to spend them all diving deep into the Paranormal Portal, and whatever that means. But before we go any further, let me just make an announcement. It's getting to be crunch time here as we're nearing, the final stretch leading up to the Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup, ladies and gentlemen. And, I got to get that on the screen better. Sorry about that. Didn't quite frame that well. But this is coming up on Saturday, June 17th, 2023. And as you can see, there's going to be an incredible lineup of speakers and presenters. It's just going to be epic. I'm going to be there. Sheldon's going to be there as well as Don. So you're going to have all 3 of the portals, portal people, portal hosts, I don't know, are going to be there. And we'd love to see you guys there as well. So we hope you can make it. This is happening June 17th at the Spokane Valley Event Center in Spokane Valley, Washington. So if you're not sure where that is, it's basically right next to Spokane, Washington, which is pretty big city. So it's a really neat town. And this event is presented by Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC, our good friend, Mr. Stephen Majors. He always puts on a great presentation, whatever he does. And so we're just really honored to be a part of it. And we're really looking forward to this. Again, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Cliff Barrickman, Ken Gerhard, Michael Freeman, Michael Thompson, and Charles Howard Johnson will all be presenting there. Now, after the day's events, which end up at 5:30 p.m., an hour later, there's a VIP dinner there. So if you're interested, I don't know. I know that a while ago it was getting pretty tight for tickets to that. But you can certainly still try. There's a VIP tickets package that you can buy, and that would include the VIP dinner if you're interested in making it. Love to see you there as well. But for more information on tickets and availability and such, I would encourage you to head over to, let me do this. And this is www.exnorthwest.com. And that's Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC's website. They'll have more information and will be able to steer you towards where to get your tickets if you can be there. Again, we're looking forward to it. We're going to be doing more conferences throughout the year, but this is the only one that I've confirmed so far. Just because there's a lot of things up in the air and I'm not sure where it's all going to land and filter out. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Of course, there's just such a great lineup of people there. So hope to see you guys there as well. Again, Spokane Valley is in the very southeastern, well, maybe mid-eastern part of Washington State. And so it's really a beautiful country up here if you do manage to make the journey. If you're not already in the neighborhood, then by all means, please do. We'd love to see you there. So what does this say? Maggie, I think it's a YouTube issue, but it's giving a heads up. A lot of us are experiencing problems in the chat and error messages. Yeah, I don't see that on my end at all. Not sure what's going on there. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, the stream is a bit rate. I mean, nothing extraordinary, I guess. This is a normal message that I always see here. So I don't have any errors or warnings coming up on my display here, as you can see. So I guess we'll just keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll just smooth out as we keep going. But please keep me posted. I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat. Hopefully Sheldon will be along shortly to help me with that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Now, I will tell you. I've heard lately that allegedly, and I don't know the facts. It's just one of those things I saw in passing somewhere online in my forays into the World Wide Web. But apparently there's some cyber attacks going on from abroad, and I don't know to what degree or what they're affecting or what they're trying to do exactly, but it does seem like there's some concerted cybersecurity issues going on the web right now, and so maybe that could be having some issues. It happens when we type. Let me type. That's weird. Is this working okay? Yeah, it seems to be. Everything seems to be good. Let me do this. Join the Portal Discord. I'll do this and then pin a message up there and just see what happens. And then let me get to colon, and then we'll go HTTPS / discord.gg/paranormal portal. Oops, AL portal. There we go. So all that typed perfectly for me. And I'm, of course, connecting to YouTube as well. But at least on my end, I don't see any errors or anything. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't see the errors that you guys are seeing. Well, where did that go? Whoops. There we go. Pin message. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Hopefully that works. I don't know. Seems to be. I'm on my phone. It says internal error. That's weird. Maggie and Just Info Arsonist are both seeing this. Okay, Lewis says it's working. Let me know, everybody in the YouTube chat, if you're having issues or if it's working okay. I don't know. It could just be some regions are having trouble. Only one without this problem? No, apparently not, Trount. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but apparently other people are doing fine as well. Internal errors are probably server-side errors without reporting the error public for security. Yeah, I guess we're not alone. It's like right on top of me, too. Well, I guess we're not alone. But if there is something influencing the bandwidth and people typing, knock it off. That's not okay. This is the portal, by God. So, I've had error sending message occasionally. Okay, well, we'll just keep an eye on it, guys. It's definitely not in my control. There's no issues I can see on this end. I've got green as far as a traffic indicator. It does the signal lights. Green is good. Yellow is not so good. Red is really not good. And right now I'm solid green, doing good. So let's hope that it stabilizes for all of you guys. So anyway, we'll just keep an eye on it. I do apologize, but there's only so much a guy can do. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Okay. What was that pop? Did you guys hear that pop? Like, sound like something went like that. Let me just see something. Hold on a sec. No, the other mic is muted. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Check my connections. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I don't know. Weird night. What can I say, folks? It's the portal. We just don't know what the hell's going to happen. But I will tell you one thing. It's never a dull moment here. All right. Well, we've got some news to get to, so I guess that's a good place to start. And we'll see what's going on. Oh, I just got a text from Sheldon. Okay. Getting food, then he'll be here. Well, good. Yeah, he's just coming right from work, so it happens. I'm doing good, Trout. What is your other name? Or what? You said you use different names every week, so who? It doesn't sound like you're a new person. So who is your original name, or how would I know you? Because this is the first time I've seen Trout. Let me know in the chat. I'll keep watching for that occasionally. But it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Paranormal Portal news. So without further ado, let's get to it and just find out what the hell's going on in the world of the Paranormal Portal. Slick. I appreciate that, Maggie. Thank you. I mean, it's something we can always look at. You got it, John. I'm just going to talk through this whole thing. Well, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live here on the Paranormal Portal news desk as we cook through the evening. And we've got some articles to get through, so let's just see what's going on in the news. In the news. And first up, we have an article from unexplained-mysteries.com. This one's kind of cool because I think the timeline, the historic timeline, I think is way wrong. And it kind of makes me happy to see these.
Marie is ready to.
What in the hell is going on there? It kind of makes me happy to see these new discoveries come up. And you'll see what I mean right now, because from unexplained-mysteries.com, great site, please support it. They're wonderful over there. I love what they're doing, and it's wonderful. So from unexplained-mysteries.com, as of May 26th of this year, humans were using fire in Europe 50,000 years earlier than thought. They keep pushing that back. You guys notice this? They keep pushing that envelope a little further back all the time. I got crap all over it over there, don't I? Well, I should look and see what's actually on the screen. Oh, I guess you can only see the chair. Okay. So apparently fire's been around a lot longer than we thought, which is makes sense. I think that generally speaking, we have this really archaic idea of what history looked like, even prior to the ancient Egyptian dynasties and stuff. We just have this idea that people were kind of just dragging themselves out of caves or something. But it seems the history is much more robust and fascinating than we've been led to believe. It sounds like even these established paleontologists and archaeologists have had to recognize that, wait a minute, things were going on a lot earlier than we thought. So let's see what this is. It says humans were using fire 50,000 years earlier than thought. It's a big article. I'll just read the first part of it. It says Professor Clayton McGill and his team have discovered evidence of fire used by early humans on the continent. And this is the European continent, of course. Human history is intimately entwined with the use and control of fire. However, working out when our relationship with fire began and how it subsequently evolved has been notoriously difficult. Yeah, because we can't ask them. This is partly due to the incomplete nature of archaeological records, and also because fire use was fleeting, making burnt remains difficult to detect. Why does it say fleeting? We're still using it. What do you mean? It's not very fleeting. We still use fire all the time, and have for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So I don't know what that means. But our team has found evidence of the controlled use of fire by direct human ancestors, or hominins, at a site in Spain dating back 250,000 years ago. This pushes the earliest evidence of fire control in Europe back by 50,000 years. The findings have been published in Nature Scientific Reports. It is truly special to find the remains of human ancestors and fire at the same location. There is much earlier evidence of hominins exploiting fire, but this could have taken the form of hominins taking advantage of the burning embers from a natural wildfire to cook their food. Why? Why would you assume that? Do you think they just, oh, this is hot. Hey, guys, we can cook. Did it just occur to them to throw meat on the fire just suddenly? That doesn't even make sense. I mean, if there's a speculative use of fire to cook food much even earlier than that, then I think it's safe to assume they were probably doing it on purpose. It wasn't because, hey, we found fire, let's get the fish out. So there's much earlier, I reread that. Much older evidence from outside of Europe, which could be from humans making use of natural blazes, comes from Swartkrans Cave in South Africa, where hominin remains were found with hundreds of burnt animal bones to between 1 and 1.5 million years ago. Holy macaroni, that's a long time. Burnt animal bone fragments were also identified at the 1.5 million year old site known as, boy, they went all out coming up with that name, FXJJ, Big J, Little J, 20AB at Kubifora in Kenya. Yet finding hominin artifacts and burnt bones at the same site does not in itself indicate that they coincided in time, let alone that humans were controlling fire. The path to its controlled use is likely to have been gradual, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, they still don't know, essentially, is what this means. And there's still enough question that apparently they still have to revisit their theories and ideas about our distant past. So if you ask me, there's a lot of advanced things that were happening ages and eons ago that don't make sense utilizing the traditionally accepted views of what these Bronze Age and earlier cultures were using. Just the idea of machining and precision machining granite with brass chisels and stuff, or bronze chisels, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm not alone in that. I mean, that's a pretty widely questioned view. It's like, how do you make sense of that? And just the precision fittings of these weird blocks, huge blocks that are so precisely fit, you could not even slide a razor blade between them. And that's incredible. But I don't think we give our ancient ancestors near enough credit with what they did accomplish or what they were helped to accomplish. We don't know. I mean, maybe they had help. Maybe they were kind of taught all this stuff by some other intelligence. Who knows? But anyway, that's the first one up for our consumption tonight, folks. At least they're still moving the needle backwards, and hopefully maybe someday we'll figure out something more concrete. But it's a starting point. Next up in the news is, this one's bizarre. I just saw the headline and I was like, what is this? I don't know if this would be a nightmare or a great thing. I'm not sure. I mean, God only knows. I think everybody could agree there are points in their lives that they'd like to have a do-over on. Me, certainly. I've got a bunch of those parts in my life where it's like, God, what was I doing? But we're just all doing our best. However, this guy may have got a little bit of a break on this. I haven't read the report at all, so we're going to read it together. From unexplained-mysteries.com, man struck down with real-life Groundhog Day symptoms. Now, I don't know if this is Groundhog Day like the Bill Murray movie or if this is something else, but let's find out. A recent medical report details the strange case of a man who believed that the same day was repeating over and over. Oh, okay. In the classic 1993 Bill Murray fantasy comedy movie, Groundhog Day, the main character, a cynical weatherman, finds he repeatedly experiences the same day over and over again, with everything playing out exactly the same way every time. While the movie is undoubtedly fictional. Really? Medical reports have highlighted the real-life case of a man in his 80s who claimed to be experiencing exactly the same thing, albeit for a very different reason. Wherever I go, the same people are on the side of the road, the same cars behind me, and the same people in them. The same person gets out of the cars wearing the same clothes, carrying the same bags, saying the same things. Nothing is new. He's in a loop. Yikes. The problem got so bad that on one occasion he called his ebook manufacturer to complain that the device kept showing him the same pages, while on another, he phoned up a repair technician to ask for assistance because his TV was showing the same shows every day. Unlike Bill Murray, however, the man wasn't stuck in a time loop. Instead, his experiences, according to doctors, were likely complications associated with Alzheimer's disease. Well, that makes it a lot more tragic. The condition is known as deja vu. Deja vu? Is that how you say it? With recollective confabulation. Wow, it's even got DVRC. Okay. Sadly, according to the report, he was never able to find a solution. Well, when 1993 was the movie, but when was this guy? He was 80 and he was experiencing the same things. Now, I don't know. It makes you wonder. I don't know what to make of that. That's a real strange one. But that's why I wanted to cover it, because hell, it fits right in here. We do the strange daily here on the portal. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Don't have a ton more news, just a couple more articles. Maybe one more after that, and that's going to about be it. But this one is kind of surprising. It has to do with UFOs and the country of Turkey. Here it is from unexplained-mysteries.com. UFO delays more than 18 flights for 12 hours at airport in Turkey. Yikes. Did anybody get a picture of it? Nobody? Seriously? Okay, it says sightings of an unidentified object caused considerable disruption for air traffic in southeastern Turkey last weekend. According to reports, the incident occurred when the radar of a passenger aircraft picked up an unidentified flying object at an altitude of 9,000 feet over the city of Gaziantep on Saturday. Air traffic control, which had also independently verified the existence of the unknown object, quickly moved to redirect flights to airports in Adana and Sanliurfa. Man, that's a word. Sanliurfa, I guess. I've never even heard of that. In total, more than 18 flights were delayed and several others canceled. Exactly what the object could have been, however, still remains something of a mystery. According to the the Gaziantep State Airports Authority, that's a weird name, NOTAM, Notice to Airmen, was not issued and flights resumed as normal around 12 hours later. So nobody ever addressed, apparently, what it was officially, or openly, I should say. I mean, maybe they knew what it was, but they weren't letting anybody else know, and apparently things just went back to normal when it left, I guess. Okay. Well, that's got to be a 10 on the suck meter if you're traveling. That would suck for sure. But anyway, you heard it first here, maybe. Maybe you've heard of that before. I'd never heard of it before, so that's why we're covering it. All right, next up here on the portal, news comes in the last article from unexplained-mysteries.com tonight. This one, I think they're quite a bit late, because I think Tesla was already on the verge of this or had done this. I'm not sure which. But here you go. Scientists invent a device that generates electricity out of thin air. Just thin air. I think that's what Tesla's opinion was, is that there was, abundant energy all around us if we, just could utilize the right methodology to connect to it. Apparently infinite amounts of energy are just free roaming in the universe. Let's see what the article says, though. It says, a novel air gen device is capable of continuously generating electricity using almost any material. It might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but this intriguing new power generator, which has been developed by scientists at the University of Massachusetts, is the real deal. Impressively, it doesn't require any kind of conventional fuel and is completely clean, making it a viable alternative to traditional power generation methods and a rival to wind and solar power. Comprised of a piece of material filled with tiny holes 100 nanometers in diameter, the generator works by pulling electricity from water droplets in the air. While efforts to do this have been attempted before, this particular air generator can produce electricity for longer than anything that has ever come before it. One day we may actually get clean energy, electricity, literally anywhere, anytime, using airgen technology, i.e. the concept of ubiquitous powering. Because air humidity is 24/7, continuous and everywhere, computer engineer Jun Yao told Motherboard. The basis for broad-scale power is that air contains a huge amount of electricity. So if we make airgen bigger, we can get larger volume power. That volume can certainly extend to usage for daily life functions. Well, there you go, folks. Maybe we will see free energy, but somebody's going to make this and sell it. And then it's probably going to have parts that you need to replace every so often, or filters or something, and they're going to be an arm and a leg. But, I mean, at least we won't be doing it the normal way. I don't know. It's I don't know. No matter what happens, I think unless this university just said, here's how you do it, you can do it, and puts free plans out there that are openly available, I just think that somebody's going to lock that down. Probably some government body will lock it down first and then farm it out to somebody to make. And unfortunately, everything's a business, so I don't know. I don't mean to sound negative in that regard, but there's so many greedy entities out there that just want to gobble up funds and create sustainable income. And no offense to them. I mean, good for them, I guess, if they can do it. But I think free energy is one thing that really could change the game for a lot of people. I mean, if you didn't have to pay a power bill every month, could you imagine how much more disposable income you would have? You could save it. You could go shopping. You could buy things that you may not normally buy. I think we are a consumer society, so either way, the money's going to get spent. Probably some people will be smarter with it, but it's just kind of human nature to want something new and different. But I don't know. It just seems like no matter what, somebody's going to try to cash in on this stuff. So anyway, at least it's a step in the right direction. What comes of it, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm also not ideologically impaired. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but that's the way I'm putting it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. As for right now, this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's get back to the rest of the show. We still got a bunch more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I see Rachel says, I'm still having troubles with showing Chad held for review. I haven't seen any of those. I was just reading articles, so it's hard for me to see those in real time. I was going to experiment with lighting a lamp with potatoes, but I ate the lamp. Well, that's kind of counterproductive, but it starts with a good intent, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's just the weirdness that is the portal, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange. Let me get myself back on camera here so you guys can see something other than that ocean of blackness there. It's chilly here in SoCal. Really? Wow. I didn't think it ever got. Yeah, I'm still here, Chucky. You can't get rid of me that easy. I'm like a bad rash. I'll just keep showing up. I'm always here. Hey, unknown. Good to see you. Wait for what? What are we waiting for? Good to see everybody here. Thank you guys for coming in and being a part of the journey. As always, it's a wonderful, wonderful time. It's wonderful to see you guys coming in. Why did you leave me? I didn't think I did. Did I? Did I leave? I think I've been here the whole time. But there was blackness. Yeah. That was just me not transitioning because I got caught up with what you guys were saying in the chat. I'm like, wait, what? I wanted to see what Rachel was saying. And it's me. I'm still here. I'm always here. Even when the shows aren't live, I'm always right here. This is like 90% of my day is sitting in this chair doing things for the show. Any number of things. The tasks are always abundant. Abundant tasks. I have abundant tasks. Okay. So next, guys, we're going to be going to a segment that's I think we all know and love, and it has to do with our Discord, which is wonderful. But without further ado, I guess I'm going to say that again. I said it earlier. I don't know why I'm saying without further ado all the time. I don't usually say that, I don't think. Maybe I'm channeling something. Who knows? All right, we're going to get to the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a segment of the show that I have a lot of fun with because it gives us a chance to ask you guys, our Discord community, some questions. And so it's great to hear what you guys think. Are you always watching like Santa Claus? Well, I'm only sitting in this chair. I can't see all of you all the time. I'm not quite that good, but I'm always sending you guys love. Just so you know. Sending love all the time because, you know, love is love heals. Love builds, I think. It's what I believe. So this is the Discord question of the week segment. And I guess as such, I should do this. I left that up from last show. It just popped up. I'm so glad it did because it looked like I had that planned. Like I knew what I was doing there for a second, but I just didn't ever turn off that function when I changed to this scene. So I'm glad it's here. But ladies and gentlemen, on your screen is their Discord server, and pinned to the top of the chat, of course, is the permanent link. Once again, thanks to K-Love, we have a permanent link in order to put out there for people to join the Discord. So again, it's discord.gg/paranormal portal. And we'd love to have you be a part of it as well. If you use Discord and you're on other servers, well, then join the portal as well. We'd love to have you over there. And we're just getting more and more people all the time. It's really fun. There's phenomenal conversations going on in the chats. And as you see on the screen, there are several topic threads that you can choose from, whatever you're interested in, including music. My God, there's music included here. Strange phenomena, paranormal library, paranormal movies is another one that people have been posting up things that they've watched. I haven't seen the Megan movie. I don't know if that looks kind of like the worst haunted doll possible. I think she's kind of a robotic thing, but anyway, it's still the whole malicious intent. Paranormal Caught on Camera. That used to be a good show. I don't have any TV right now. I mean, I just have like a Amazon Fire TV, and I do watch Netflix from time to time, very, very rarely, but I do. And I also have it on my tablet so that I sometimes put it up in here if I'm working on something. But I miss those weekly shows like that. I really did enjoy. I used to watch Ghost Adventures every week religiously. Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, The Dead Files, Paranormal Caught on Tape. I watched so many of them. So I miss all of those. But it's neat when you guys are posting these things up in here because even though I can't watch a lot of it because I don't have all the subscription stuff. Ooh, what is that? Wicked Wednesday. Chucky put it up there. Way to roll, Chucky. My favorite episode so far. Very cool. I appreciate that, Chucky. I don't remember what I covered there, but I'm glad you liked it. I don't know what I did, but I'm glad I did it right. All right, so here we are, and there's still a few answers coming in. That's good. Maggie right now is typing. You can see down here it says Maggie is typing. Maggie's trying to get her answer in before it's too late. So I posted this question because I thought it was kind of interesting. Basically it's the whole scientific acknowledgement and the unwillingness of the scientific communities, even in the presence of what should be some compelling evidence in the form of anecdotal references of people's experiences to footprint casts to, people having things happen in their homes with spirits and stuff. There still seems to be an incredible reluctance to even give that any kind of credibility or to push any research efforts that way to try to figure out what it is people are experiencing. If it's not exactly what they think it is, then what the hell is it? but we get crickets from the scientific community. It's like, why is that? I know we all have ideas. We all have our many ideas. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought. So the question of the week for Friday's show: do you feel the reluctance of modern science to actively investigate and potentially authenticate the many strange phenomena that we cover is due to arrogance and hubris, or do you think there are other factors? English. This is English. You're right. I'm speaking English. Wow. There are other factors that stop these pursuits from launching. Are there other reasons for the unwillingness to address these possibilities? And it's something I really do wonder, because certainly it's easy enough for scientists to go, oh, well, I'm not going to mess with that stuff. I have a reputation, after all. You know, there is an arrogance to it. And that, I think, goes without saying. But I think there might be other factors involved here. So I was curious what you guys had to say. Within is the first to weigh in on this. And Within says, I believe that it is definitely strategic to discredit the strange phenomena all around us. Keeping knowledge hidden is a good way to keep people consciously unaware of the power and potentiality that resides within us all. And that's actually a brilliant take. I hadn't thought about that, but you know what? There is that point. And it's old as time. Knowledge is power. So if there's belief, that is power too. But coupled with knowledge, for instance, before I'd ever seen a UFO, I was a believer in the phenomena. But the moment I saw it, saw the UFO sitting above the tree, just hovering, apparently maybe looking at me, it was just this epiphany, this overwhelming wave washed over me. It's like, it is real. And it was kind of a relief. It was kind of a relief and a release, but it was also a powerful moment of me going, I knew it was out there. I knew this stuff was happening. And there it is. And of course, I've gone over that many, many times, and throughout the history of the show and many interviews I've done. So if you want to hear that full take, just go listen to Sasquatch Chronicles when I was on there talking to Wes, or the Believe podcast with Cade, our good friend Cade, or any number of shows where I've been a guest. I've covered that story, but it's an incredibly different state. Now, ghostly stuff, I was always a believer, and I've experienced many of it through many, many years. So that's always been kind of a foregone conclusion. The growling that I experienced that I believe was a Bigfoot, I never actually saw it. So I can't say, hey, I was growled at by a Bigfoot. I don't know what it was that growled at me, but it was huge. Whatever it was huge. And so that was a state of knowing too. I know there's something up there that is not something that people know is there or acknowledge that is there. So anyway, there is a power to knowledge. And I think that's a great take. So thank you, Within. I appreciate your angle on that. That's really pretty brilliant. Celtic Thorn Rose comes up next, and she says, I think it's because they don't want us knowing things that they don't want us to look for, the things that will take away their dominance. Good point. Past cultures knew so much, and now we don't. It has been denied to us, and the scientific thought poo-poos anything that is considered outside its realms. We have lost our ability to connect with the natural world in a way that the animals still do, and that is a shame. Yeah, I agree. The arrogance and the hubris comes from telling us all this paranormal stuff is hooey and unscientific. Yeah, that's true. And I think that's maybe that's part of it. If we are in balance with our world and we're connecting to it in a holistic and spiritual way, maybe our reliance on the sciences would be much less. Maybe our trust in it would also be much less. I don't know. But great take. I appreciate that and good thoughts. Monogard comes up next and says, I feel there are several factors at play. I think we're still very limited what we have available and for reliably measuring things in those areas. Very true. Very true. We really don't have any established tools that were specifically designed for it. But that's why many of the existing studies are built on the framework of other sciences, primarily psychology and sociology, examining the experiences that people have, rather than studying the experiences themselves. Reproducibility is often extremely difficult as well, further limiting the usable data. Yeah, great takes. There is also the acceptability factor. Funding for studies relies on others feeling that it's worthy of study, and often it's not that no one wants to investigate, but that they can't get support for doing so. It's also always a risk to step too far outside of what is deemed acceptable in one circle. The fringe areas of any field need to be carefully navigated if one wants to continue having access to the resources that allow them to do the research. Yeah, that's true. It is a good way to ostracize yourself, I'm sure. It's changing, I think. Just last year, NASA announced that they are commissioning a UAP study, which I think is just probably a taxpayer potbelly thing. Dump cash into this. We'll just call it a UAP study. The public meeting for that is in a few days on May 31st, and I expect that we'll see more such things. It just takes time. Good point. We've come a long way since the days when humanity believed that the world, I think she meant the sun, revolved around us, but it took a really long time to get there, and a lot of people still aren't there. I also think that all the work being done in physics is going to pay off when it comes to future study of strange phenomena. We're already learning to measure things that we didn't previously know existed. Yeah, that is true. And I'm not meaning to take an entirely negative view of it. I do think you're right, though. I think that there are plenty of people in the scientific communities that are interested in this stuff. They just, again, it takes resources. It takes funding. And there's nobody stepping up to the plate to go, I'm going to fund this research. And, therein lies the problem. There's not a lot of demand because the research that's being funded most often is things that build revenue. It's things that build revenue. So there you go. More of this, more of that. More of this, more of that. I like the play on your name, Barbara. That's beautiful. First off, old-time peer pressure. Doctor types aren't willing to put their life securities on the line. They also want to protect family and reputation, too. Yeah, I agree. Science and esoteric will eventually mingle. I also think both disciplines quietly know it's all one and the same when looking at the universal big picture. Yeah, I think so. I think, the magic of yesterday is I should rephrase that. I think the mysticism of yesterday in a lot of ways is the science of today. And I think that things like alchemy were definitely predecessors to modern chemistry. I think that, those pursuits and herbalism was the predecessor to pharmacology. And, so many things are spawned by these more holistic, esoteric practices. The one thing that they do and did and continue to do, which I think is unfortunate, is that they remove the element of spirit from it all. And I think that that's kind of tragic. But in any case, maybe once they learn to measure more exotic energies of the universe, then maybe we'll be able to isolate, wait, there is spirits here. They're all over the place. And then we can acknowledge the spirit once again. It's like we got to go this really long full circle back to where we were. I don't know. I mean, we're certainly a lot farther along in many, many respects. So I don't mean to imply that, the world was better before. I mean, you could die of an abscessed tooth back in the days. And thank God that doesn't happen much now. ZX81V2 comes in next. If you're working outside the standard models, then you are pseudoscientists and ridiculed by people who don't understand the difference between theory and proof until finally you're forced out of your field of research because you had an idea. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you got to wonder if someone like Tesla came along again, Nikola Tesla, if someone like him came along again, would he even have a chance? I mean, would he even have a chance? If he came with ideas and theories that absolutely, destroyed the existing models and recreated them, would he have a chance to push that forward, or would it just get sidelined and backroomed and locked down? And I unfortunately I fear that it's probably the case. Rachel 101 says, I'd like to say hubris is the belief of the paranormal is nonsense. She means that it's the hubris that causes people to have that belief, is what I'm thinking. But my answer is funding. Scientists got to eat, and there's no money in it. Yeah, good point. There's probably plenty of scientists who are very interested in the paranormal, but that doesn't pay the bills. Dr. Jeff Meldrum and Dr. Melba Ketchum being two exceptions in regards to Bigfoot. There may be a covert study of the paranormal. In some nations, India, China, Russia, also covert. But outwardly, there's no proof that the scientific community embraces the paranormal. I think the reasons for secrecy is the potential of upending people's beliefs in rigid scientific facts, disrupt the system, lose control of the public. Yeah. Yeah, it is funny because when you look at the establishment of religions and accepted religious structures, they were and continue to be almost governing bodies, and so it is almost a structure of government. And where was I going with this? But the idea is that I don't know where I was going with it, but it is kind of funny because the more you break it down, it does become these governmental structures. You got to understand, I'm running on fumes tonight. I'm sorry. I was working in the yard a lot of today, and I'm just fried and exhausted, but I'm happy to be here. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not firing on all cylinders right now. So I apologize if I'm a little flighty, but I totally lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. I'm here to save the day.
Well, did you have a train of thought? I heard you in the background a while ago. You just sitting there listening?
No, you didn't hear me. I just came in.
Ooh, that's creepy. I did hear something. I heard something in the background, but I thought it was you.
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Okay, well, what's your take on what's going on?
Well, I think the problem is a lot of these experiences are so anecdotal, and because of the infinite possibility of this thing happening, that I think people just think, and with these skeptics too, they're usually people that usually like, it was just this thing, it was just that thing, as far as anecdotal spiritual beliefs and whatnot, that I think people are discouraged to look deeper than that. They just look at the surface level. Oh, it could be this. Oh, it could be that. Maybe it's kind of like we always talk about how, like, their structure of reality and things on stability, and like when you put things that people can't have control on, it freaks people out. For those, in my opinion.
Is your VPN off?
Oh, is it?
I don't know. You're lagging a little bit.
No, it's off right now, actually.
Okay, good. All right. We've had a little bit of issues tonight with people in the chat from YouTube. So I'm just a little curious. But anyway, yeah. No, I mean, the question of the week had to do with why doesn't science acknowledge this or put any study into it? And I think you're still right. I think your point is right that way as well. I think it could be that they just don't want to chase the red herring either. It's like, oh, well, I invested all this time and energy and turned up nothing. So does that discount the possibility? No. But it just means that maybe we're not far enough along in our sciences yet either. But do you have this open or do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I just read Rachel's.
I think it's just hard because what?
I just read Rachel's. So if you want to continue on Just Here and There 66.
All right. So Just Here and There 66 saying, I believe there are other factors that don't permit people, companies, and etc. to get involved. It's called money. The funding for a lab, wording in grants or contract. Board members don't believe in such nonsense. And if it's studied, your backing is gone with a swish of a pen. Finding and keeping backers / funding is not easy for academia or any of the myriad other companies that need funds to operate. I think that's a really good point as well.
Yeah. Yeah, money is the taskmaster of sciences. There's no question. And that's also my complaint with science is that research is funded, and a lot of times that research is bought and paid for by companies who want a certain result. And so it kind of makes you think, well, is it possible then that these scientists are taking a real, hey, we'll let the science point the way, or are they taking the, hey, let's keep the cash coming. Let's find exactly what they want us to find, you know? So
yeah, because results is the thing.
Yeah,
they can sell results.
Right. Yeah. So they say trust the science, but science is aimed, and I think that also neuters it, you know, unfortunately. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
So next up is Mario. Good question, but I don't know something unrelated. I think everything paranormal is connected to the government in some way. And Brent, we all love you like family, and thank you for making my days so much better.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Mario.
Oh, thank you, Mario. That's so nice. K-Love's coming in saying to keep people in the dark without knowledge so that they can be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. Luna Moonicorn coming up next saying the government knows more about these paranormal things than we ever will know.
Yeah.
I think that there is a lot of research that does not get done because of funding. But I'm sure there's a ton of research that has been or is being done that we will probably never know about. I think making it taboo or making civilians who are interested in researching seem crazy benefits those who are doing the research for the government. They can confiscate data, samples, info, put forth an alternative story to control the narrative, and then trickle out information to the public as they see fit. We know that the government has researched so many phenomena, from the psychic powers to UAP, and denied it. From the CIA Stargate program to the government at Skinwalker Ranch. I think the more research that is done at the civilian or university level, it is getting harder for the government to control the narrative completely. But they will try.
Yeah. Good
yeah,
points.
I mean...
Yeah. And that's a great take. I think, you know, that the CIA did a ton of experiments, and there's the CIA leaks and releases that have come out show that they really did look into a lot of strange stuff, a ton of strangeness. And
Third Eye Spies, there's documentary on it.
Yes, yeah, that's of course the remote viewing, but I'm also talking about you know, they've apparently done studies on astral projection and the UFO phenomena and so many other things that have been rather covert and never openly acknowledged. So that's a good point. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, Maggie M10 saying, yep, I agree with the ZX81V2. It seems in my experiences, even when tangible evidence is produced, belief as to whether something is or isn't possible takes over and shuts down any discussion in the evidence gathered. Why, though? Probably because humans are complex creatures and behave in many different ways when confronted with unknown phenomena. Uncertainty, and when the answer is, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I don't know is never an acceptable answer in science. Oh, thank you, Jesse. Woo, brother.
Jesse.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse is part of the Hometown Ghost Stories team. And he's also been working with me on some music, and we're doing some brilliant stuff. I mean, this guy is just brilliant. It's been amazing. So, yeah, good to see you, Jesse. Thanks for stopping in, brother. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I think these are great questions, great takes, guys. You know, we just don't know. And granted, no matter what we say, it's largely speculative, but I think we can see enough with the handling of like Dr. Melba Ketchum. Now, I don't think that everything that she did I don't know that I don't know enough about genetic testing and sampling and how to process those things to have any critique of it whatsoever. But allegedly, she did a lot of double-blind studies and samples sent out that came back extraordinarily anomalous, and were then once more the information came out, those same places that returned those results just kind of disavowed it. Like, no, that wasn't us.
Oh,
so she really got lampooned, and I know that there's all kinds of takes on all of that, but I don't think. Apparently, the number of studies and samples that were sent out was pretty profound, and to have those returning with the DNA sampling saying human mother but some kind of unknown father is and from multiple sources, multiple labs return those same results. So that's terrible, and it actually her desire to help substantiate this phenomena really and largely became her undoing. But I'm just glad to see that she's really coming back, and she's really getting back out there again, because she kind of just fell into the abyss for a while, and she was just gone. It's like, oh man, I'm no expert. I don't have any expert opinion on it whatsoever, but I've certainly read and looked into a bunch of different sources on the topic, and it really seems like she really did do some amazing things, and yet was still absolutely crucified over it. And
Wow.
that's absolutely tragic to me, because it's nice to see somebody putting some effort into this and trying to bring some clarity into the enigmas. Now, this is just the Sasquatch, but it's certainly not going to motivate anyone else to come forward and try to do it.
Isn't that the point of science? Is to test things out, the unknowns?
Yeah,
We should
probably ask Jesse, because he's a nuclear physicist. So.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jeanette coming in with the $4.99. Thank you so much.
You, Jeanette. Appreciate it. Appreciated the bunch. Thank you so much. Yeah. I love watching the Hometown Ghost Stories. Those guys are so awesome. Every Tuesday, guys, you got to tune in over on their YouTube channel. They do a live stream, and I'm here to tell you, they are doing it so right over there. I've just, I become friends with them, of course, but I became a fan right off the bat. I just really love the way they do things. Their camaraderie and the sense of familiarity with them is just phenomenal. So definitely check out Hometown Ghost Stories. You won't be mad that you did. You'll be thanking me. In fact, let them know where you heard about it. I'm just saying. Let them know. Just says, I appreciate you, bud, but I cannot offer any nuclear physicist advice.
Watch. Unless
it's strictly about Chernobyl. Yeah, they did something on Chernobyl, and I guess Jesse went into a whole diatribe about how this nuclear fission works or whatever. And he's taken him on the chin ever since. What did that say? It said watch. That's fitting. The Ghost Radar said watch. I was just talking about Hometown Ghost Stories. I'm actually impressed by that. I don't usually see that thing make any sense, but it finally sent a word that was actually relevant to what was going on. Well done, Ghost Radar. I guess
the ghosts agree.
The ghosts agree. Head over to Hometown Ghost Stories. The ghosts know. Amen, brother. Great entertainment. It says watch. Yep. Just info. That's what it said. Little spooky. You're right, John. Or just John. Yeah, John. Sorry. I don't have my glasses, and I never wear my glasses, but being as I'm extra exhausted, it's like I got an extra layer of fuzzy film on my eyeballs from mowing. It's like I'm mowing, and it's been a little dry, so you're kicking up clouds of dust and pollen, and it's caking your eyeballs. It's just All right.
Sounds gross.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, not that everybody needed to hear about that, but I got the microphone. You're kind of stuck with me. Thank you to everybody that contributed on the question of the week. I really appreciate it. Brilliant responses. I just love the fact that we get a chance to hear your thoughts. And I'm always extraordinarily impressed at the level. I mean, I don't know. You know, when you do a show, you have. I mean, we've got a community we've had for a long time, and I've certainly come to know many of you very well just by your interactions here in the chat. But when you come on the Discord and you put out these incredibly robust answers to these really sometimes really obscure points or discussion points, I just really learn so much, and I learn to think about these things differently just based on your guys' involvement. So thank you all so much for that. But this has been the Discord question of the week. Oh, I did turn it off. Never mind. That was supposed to go so much smoother. In my head, that was really good transition. Let's try it again.
God.
Boom. All right. Oh, I got to turn you on here. That didn't come out right at all, did it? Sorry.
I was going to say, don't say that ever again.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little punchy tonight. I'm just running on fumes mostly. So, all right, we got through that. Thank you again, everybody, for your contributions. If you do use Discord and you're not currently in our Discord server, please, the link is posted. It's pinned right to the top of the YouTube chat, so check it out. It's a concrete, evergreen link. That's what they call it, evergreen in advertising.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like evergreen content. Well, that link is evergreen. It never goes stale. So we don't need to keep refreshing it. Sorry.
I didn't know I was done tonight.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Oh, well, you know, why don't you just here? Let me put my chin up so you can get a better shot. I need more abuse. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you know what a thankless job this is?
I'm just saying, I didn't know I was done tonight. I mean, I can grow the beard longer if you want. You know,
yeah, get right on that. We need more beards in here.
Yeah.
I think just I can't grow a beard. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it just looks like this patchy. Speaking of Chernobyl, it looks like I camped there for about a week. If I grow this out, it's just like these patches of fur and bald spots. It's like, oh, yeah. No, I'm not. I'm looking for that lower third. What the hell is that? There it is. No,
it's okay. I can be done. It's all right. I can be done.
No, you can't. There can be only one. Just like the Highlander. You know, getting back to this, ladies and gentlemen. Now back over here. I've got the ghost balls.
Yeah.
All right. There's two of them back here. All right. So last Saturday's show, the one of the ghost balls was just going nuts. I mean, it was just going nuts. You have to watch back to see it. Now, as it was happening, I'm like, well, let me try to debunk this. So I started stomping my feet, patting on my desk, talking really loud to see if that was doing it, and nothing was triggering it. And then so I went like, pow, clapped really loud. Nothing, and it didn't sync with it. But on like the third clap, suddenly it stopped. And it was just done. I mean, it was just done. I was like, wow, that was weird. So a listener, longtime friend of the show, Taz came in and said, there's apparently some beliefs out there. And I can't remember where she said it was from now, but again, I'm working on like two cylinders. She said that clapping is one old method of clearing spirits from a space. And it's often apparently utilized by travelers going into hotel rooms. It'd be like, clap really loud. And that's supposed to, I guess, startle spirits away. But it is interesting that thing was going nuts. I mean, it was just like every few minutes, boom, 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 boom. Maybe even less. Sometimes just seconds apart. It was just going off. And after I clapped, it stopped and never did it again. Like, oh, I didn't know that. I never heard that. Have you ever heard that, Sheldon?
No, this is literally the first time of hearing this.
Yeah. My first time was just maybe yesterday when I was reading that comment. It's like, oh God, I didn't know that. Okay. Have any of you heard of that? Because I didn't know that. I clap on, clap off. Yeah.
You clapped it off. You got to clap again.
Yeah, I should have just clapped again. I didn't realize it was the clapper. That could explain it. Actually, I didn't know, but I guess if that's a belief that's held, then there might be some validity to it. So Sheldon, do you want to talk for a couple minutes while I use the loo, or do you want me to go to break?
About what? We can go to break because I need to pee too. Actually,
You didn't. Okay, we didn't need all the graphic details. All right.
Want to tell me what? Okay. All right.
You gotta go powder your nose or something. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick break.
Zipper.
What does that say? Zipper. It says zipper. What the hell?
No
I swear to God, it says zipper. It says zipper.
That's what I was gonna say.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the zipper. Yeah.
I've never seen this thing be so relevant. Usually it's like platypus or something dumb. It's like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Now it's like I'm talking about watching Hometown Ghost Stories and it says watch. And I'm talking about going to the bathroom and it says zipper. I mean, that's actually got me a little intrigued here. I've never seen this thing. As far as the ghost radar, anything with a magnetometer should be able to detect EM fluctuations, which is, even though a wireless communication is a very narrow band, not as robust as like a K2 or millimeter or anything like that, but it can detect it within that specific range. But the word generator on this thing has always been, I don't know, absolutely random. Like a kid chewing on, glue in the corner. It's like, okay, well, that's not helping any. But tonight, that's two responses now that are like, hey, that actually makes sense. All right, well, consider it, folks. We're going to take a quick break. I just got to use the loo. Those of you to listen live, what does this say? The Shinto religion in Japan uses clapping to purify oneself of impurities. Oh, very interesting.
Oh,
thank you, Rachel. Well, that gives me a little more context, and maybe Taz did too. I was kind of half aware when I read it, but it was one of the first things I read when I woke up yesterday. Or today, I don't know, one of the days, whatever the hell it is. I read it, and
at a certain point,
I just remember clapping. I was like, oh, the clapper. All right, so we're gonna go to break quick. I apologize, but I'm working with a thimble bladder and 2 cylinders. So
yeah,
we'll be right back in just a minute. Don't go away. Lots more of the portal yet to come.
Don't go.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping stars across my heart. Raining anger wars inside me, and their lies keep falling apart. But I know just another fucking mask. Taking all the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well trained. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking
Whew. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate your
We
patience.
are relieved.
Relieved?
Relieved.
Oh, relieved. I thought you said we never leaved. And I was like, what?
No, we
Sorry.
don't.
Sorry. I think the ghost radar is taking most of my IQ points tonight or something. Jesus. I'm just really floating here. But anyway, we have a lot more of the show to go. What time is it? What time do we got? 8:12. Yeah, we got plenty of time. We're going to do some glitches in the Matrix, folks. We've been working our way through an article. Again, I don't know why this article appeared on this site. Where the hell is that site? No, that's not it. Here we go. But the site where this article appears is called moneyawaits.com. Now, that's not what you typically think of when you're looking for some good paranormal entertainment. But they do these Reddit scrapes, and basically they have, I don't know if they're maybe contributed by, contract writers or whatever, but these writers go out and they do a thread or farm threads on Reddit and come back with thematic paranormal stories. And honestly, these are very short, very brief, but some of them are incredibly surprising. Now, I will say we don't know that they're true. There's no way to validate or authenticate any of it. It's just, it is what it is. You take it or leave it. They're presented as true. And so that's the spirit I'm giving them to you in. We just read one last show and I was like, I don't believe that one at all. It just came across as just too much. But some of them I think are really profound. And I guess anybody that's had weird experiences, you can probably relate to at least some of this. But anyway, let's see what we can find out here. All right. Great minds think alike. Again, this is moneyawaits.com. And these are eerie glitch in the Matrix moments. And I find these pretty interesting because it definitely, if any of these, let's just say, for the sake of argument, we read 20 stories. If only one of them is true, that's still some profound stuff going on. I mean, that's really something incredible is happening. If only one of these stories is factually correct and legitimate, and the rest are just fabrications of creative writers, if one of them is true, that's still phenomenal. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know. You be the judge, though. I'm not telling you have to believe anything. I'm not telling you shouldn't or should, but let me know what you think. Number 12, great minds think alike. This story happened when I was only about 11 or 12 years old. It was the early 70s, and Dad came home one Friday and announced we were going to Kings Island, a fairly new amusement park. We were supposed to be going the following day. I begged him to let me invite my friend Chris to come along, and he said, okay, as long as Chris could pay for his own ticket. Great. Off to the phone I went. I pick it up, and there's no dial tone. And I say, hello? And suddenly I hear Chris's voice say, hey, is that you? And I go, Chris, I was just calling you. What's up? What Chris said next was so bizarre, it's unforgettable. He told me, I was calling to ask if you'd like to come to Kings Island tomorrow, but you have to pay your own way. No phone ever rang, yet we both called each other at the exact same time to ask the exact same thing. And that's from Om God. This episode of The Portal was brought to you by the letters O, M, and G. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a synchronicity, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, yeah.
It's got to be pretty profound. I think everybody's done that. Well, I got to call Becky. You pick up the phone, there's no dial tone. It's like, there's Becky. I'm just, whatever the hell. I don't know who. I'm just came up with Becky. So we're going to roll with that. But anyway, we've all, I think, well, I don't know about in the age of cell phones so much, but in the old phone days,
Yeah.
that used to happen sometimes. It was like you're just linked somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the old phones at all, Sheldon, or is that before? I think you were probably the cordless.
I'm not that young. I remember.
Well,
I know how to do whatever the circle thing. You put your finger in and go over. whatever. The circle dial thing.
It's the dialer. It was a circular dialer.
Oh, yeah, the circle dialer. Yeah. I used that like once or twice in my life.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
My grandma had one, and I swear to God, it took you like a weekend to make a phone call. It's like, it's like, oh my God. God forbid you had to dial 911 because you'd be there like for 10 minutes.
Rotary phone. That's what it's called.
Rotary. Thank you. Somebody actually said that. There you go, Luna. Luna came in. All right. So interesting story. Number 13, time is on your side. I moved away from my hometown a few years ago for school, and I now live 3 hours away from my friend's house. I usually drive down once a month or so to visit him, and it was pretty much always been taking me 3 hours to drive down. On rare occasions, if traffic is really good, I make it take a little less time, more on the range of 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now, I've done this drive dozens of times, so I know the route very well. The distance between my house and my friend's house is 178 miles. A few months ago, my brother and I started driving down to our friend's house at exactly noon. As soon as I got into my car, I texted my mom and friends to let them know we were coming down for the weekend. The drive itself was nothing noteworthy. Traffic was lighter than normal, but as I said, nothing else happened, and that was out of the ordinary. I tend to go a little over the speed limit of 70 miles per hour, but never faster than 100.
That's a lot over.
A little over 70, but never more than 100. Well, that's like 30 more than 70. That's a lot more than 70.
Get arrested for going that fast.
All right. Yeah, I know. Going anywhere near that speed is way too dangerous for public roads and other people around. Yeah, that's what the mosquito. Almost got him. Burn in hell, you little bastard. All right.
Agreed.
Sorry. Sorry. I have no love for mosquitoes. I have a compassion for everything. I'm very Buddhist about it, but mosquitoes can just go to hell. All right. So going anywhere near that speed is too dangerous. Once we arrived at my friend's house, we were confused as to why we were so early. When I checked my phone, I made a disturbing discovery. It was only 1:30. We made it to their house in an hour and a half. We drove 178 miles in 1.5 hours. That equates to an average speed of 118 miles per hour through the entire trip. Granted, I drive a sports car. My car's speed is limited to 124 miles per hour for top speed, and there's no way I could keep it pinned at that speed the entire way there. Between fear of getting a ticket and the engine definitely not allowing it, this just wasn't a possibility. To say we were surprised would be a major understatement. I never use my phone while I'm driving, and I rarely look at the clock in my car since my attention is always on the road and on the other drivers.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, drivers, instructors everywhere are applauding. There's no logical explanation that we could come up with for what happened. I knew for a fact that I never went above 100 miles an hour the whole drive. And I knew exactly what time we had left since we had the text messages showing the exact time we said goodbye. And our friends have confirmed that we did indeed show up at 1:30. The only logical explanation I can think is that we experienced some sort of time dilation. But I say logical since that theory is only applicable to particles traveling near the speed of light. What apparently your car does. not a car going less than 100 miles per hour. Guess I will never know how or why I experienced this apparent glitch in the Matrix. That was by Rushnov. Now there's a pretty popular story of a pilot that was flying. God, where was he coming from? Like, was it Orlando? Somewhere to like Miami. He was flying down. Yeah, and Wes covered it. He did a video on Sasquatch Chronicles about it, but it was apparently it should have been like a 3-hour trip, and kind of a similar thing. They hit some weird weather, like some electrical storm or something, but it wasn't anything major. But they ended up making it in like half the time it should have taken, and it was specific to that type of aircraft. It was a little Cessna or something, and they have a top speed. I mean, there's only so fast they can go. They're not jets, but they made the journey in half the time that it should have taken at top speed or something like that, or like 45 minutes when it should have taken 3 hours. Something just bizarre. And he had flight logs to prove it, but I don't know. That's very, very strange. I think those things are real. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I have no doubt that there's something going on. God, I got like a gajillion houseflies in my house. No, it's not from evil spirits. It's from leaving the door open when I was out in the yard.
Oh.
Got a lot of flies outside. Oof. And wasps.
Just Info Arsonist said it was from Bahamas to Orlando.
Bahamas to Orlando. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, thank you very much. I couldn't remember the wheres, but I remember that they made it in a fraction of the time, flying a small personal plane. And
so it's kind of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean that was just the anomaly of it. But what were you going to say?
Well, it sounds a little different than from our experience. Like, it wasn't exactly time dilation process. It was like a teleport situation.
Yeah, the blizzard. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed that whole curving part and just we're going straight. Yeah. Yep. It took out about 2 miles of road somewhere. We lost about 2 miles of road, but it was a whiteout blizzard. We couldn't see past the hood of the car. And it was really making me very nervous because at the time, I mean, everybody was not going out. I was the only idiot out there. And, everyone else had enough sense to stay home. And I just, brought Oliver home and you and I were on the way back and boom, suddenly we're way down the road from where we should have been without going through the curve. That was what I was most nervous about. It was just like, wow, we missed it. So I'm just glad you were there because that's one of those situations. If you experience it alone, it becomes so much more or less believable. And when there's a witness, it becomes so much more believable because it's not just, oh, I zoned out and wow, just, because I mean, when people drive, it's one of the most common forms of hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And it happens often when people are driving on routes that they travel constantly, is that you go into a self-induced state of hypnosis. You're kind of on autopilot. It's almost a muscle memory thing. And you just don't realize it. But since we were both there and it was a white knuckle kind of driving, I was just like, trying to see where the snow dipped down because that would be the ditch. And to stay in the middle of that. And there wasn't even other tire tracks out there. It was just terrible. But somehow we missed the most dangerous part of that trip. And didn't feel anything, did you? Do you remember feeling anything?
I remember doing, I was just as concentrated as you on the road. Like, because you were talking about like, all right, this curve's coming up. It's going to be coming. We, talking about how we have to be careful and all that. And it just never came. And then you were like, oh my God, I think we missed it. And that's what we realized. And it was like, oh my God. It was crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it was like a divine intervention. It was, I mean, not to say that something would have happened, but it certainly wasn't looking good in our favor, So if of all the times for something like that to happen, that was a great time.
Yeah.
So somebody liked us. All right. Number 14, Baby's Day Out. Sounds like a movie. Maybe it was. So this happened about 7 or 8 years ago. My husband and I were laying in bed one night watching television, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a child in the doorway of our bedroom. Thinking it was our only child at the time, I tapped my hubby and said, "Hey, shh, don't look." But I think Connor's trying to scare us. He turns and looks, and this child walked into our room. I can't explain it because it was one of those moments that seemed somehow different. We watched in silence and soon realizing this child was not our son. He toddles in, head slightly tilted back, which sounds creepy as hell all by itself, curls bouncing and diapers squishing as he goes to the end of our bed. We see his head go down like he was crouching, and when we got up to look, he was gone. I looked at my husband and said, "Did we just see a ghost?" And then almost as an afterthought, I said, "Well, we know if we have another baby and he has curls that he's been here before he was born." We both laughed because we're not trying for another baby at the time. Fascinated, we go to check on our son and he was fast asleep. Well, we forget the whole thing, and a few months later, we found out that I'm pregnant. Fast forward to when our new baby, Liam, is 2. He toddles in the room, head slightly tilted back and curls bouncing, and it hit me like a bucket of ice water. This is the baby that came to visit us. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, but the story doesn't stop there. Now, on top of that, whenever Liam is staying the night elsewhere, like with my parents, he comes to visit me in my sleep. For example, one time, he came and just smiled at me while I was taking a nap. He was in a little red shirt and his hair was cut short, even though he left with it long. The next day, I go to pick the kiddos up from mom, and lo and behold, his hair is freshly shorn and he's wearing a little red shirt. I asked my mom, "Did he wear this yesterday?" And she replies, "Oh yeah, he did, but he insisted on wearing it today, so here it is." So I look and I say, "Did you go see Mama yesterday in Mama's dreams?" He looked at me all big blue-eyed and serious and nodded his head. Ooh.
Oh, whoa.
That was by Venus Valkyrie JH. Now, I've heard of that phenomena before where people that maybe they don't have any kids suddenly see a little child apparition in their home. And then years later, when the child is eventually born and grown, they realize that's the same child that they saw the apparition of in their home. So is it possible that baby spirits may sometimes visit their future parents? I don't know. What do you think, Sheldon?
Well, I think so. If the story is to be believed, I think so.
Okay, there you go. Right from Sheldon's mouth. He thinks so. I do too. I think that there's some merit to that. What time we got?
Well, it kind of, I mean, in a sense, though, it's something you've said to me, and I think on the show you said it before.
Okay.
But you were talking about how when we're at our youngest, like toddler baby age, that we are our most enlightened and most spiritual type of thing.
Sure. And since, I've always believed that there's something about children, they're wide open. They see more than we do as adults. They experience more. They can have full conversations with unseen apparitions, including with, learning music that they were never taught, hearing stories that they'd never been exposed to, that kind of thing. And, I often wondered, what is it about kids? Why does that happen to these little people? And then suddenly they just kind of outgrow it or it just disappears, fades. And I often thought, well, maybe it's something to do developmentally or maybe the onset of early puberty or whatever, who knows? Something's happening where suddenly they're not as zoned in with that anymore. And I was watching Joe Rogan, of all things, and he had a guy on there who was I think he was a psychologist, but I don't know what it was more of a short that I watched. But the guy was talking about the difference between children that are from 1 to 5 years old versus after that point from 7 on up. And he said that basically the child's brain in that first formative stage is in what's called the theta state. And it's a very, wide open state. And once they hit 5 to 7 years old, that starts changing and it becomes more like the adult brain. And he said, we know the theta state because it's also the state that is used. People are trying to be brought into the theta state for hypnosis. So these children are constantly in this theta state. And maybe there's something with that state that makes them wide open. And that makes you wonder then, if you can induce that through hypnosis, could you make people more open? Or leave a hypnotic suggestion or something that they would be more able to perceive spiritual entities around them. I don't know. It just really made me, really rang some bells. I don't know what the proper figure to use here, but it really surprised me. Like, okay, there is a scientific explanation for the difference in the brain states, and the fact that theta state is the hypnosis state, to me, was very profound. So,
it's
go ahead.
It's kind of like you were talking about how, like, when we see spiritual things around us, like when we see a ghost or spirit, or when we see something like that, that maybe it's the state of mind we're in, and
Yes.
maybe we're induced in that state when we see these things, but we just don't realize that state of hypnosis, like you've been talking about.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point. I do remember saying that, and I think there is something to that, because what I've thought of, and it's kind of going to be part of my future book. It's going to be, I think it's tentatively called Beyond the Hitchhiker, because the hitchhiker effect is the idea that, if somebody has a paranormal experience, other people that are in that person's lives are more likely to have paranormal experiences of their own. Sometimes it's the same phenomena, sometimes it's varied phenomena, but it almost spreads like a pathogen. But I think it has more to do with resonance and with possibly people being tuned. And here's the thing. So if we do go into, self-induced theta states, like a lot of times people are in an open state when they're in a situation where they're not familiar, so they're more open and stuff. And maybe that opens up a pineal gland or some other sensitivity that we don't normally access in our regular life. So maybe when we're seeing spirits, we're actually they're not really maybe coming to us as much as we are coming into the realization of them by just being in that more open state. And oftentimes people talk about, it was right there and I saw it, and then suddenly it just melted away, and it disapparated.
Yeah.
And maybe the disapparation wasn't the spirit actually changing its state, but it was the person going out of that state of awareness due to the shock of that experience,
Right.
that it brought them out of it, so that suddenly that visage is no longer visible because you're no longer in that open state. You're in a state of fear or shock or whatever. And so I really think there's something to that. And I've been kind of forming this opinion through time and through, thinking and hearing people's experiences and stuff. But I there's so many similarities between UFOs with Bigfoot and other cryptids, with ghosts and
I was supposed to bring that up. Yep, true. Yes.
So many of these people have seen aliens just disapparate. They've seen Bigfoot disapparate, and they've seen ghosts disapparate. Well, maybe that's all in a shared, maybe a different phase than our normal reality that these things exist in. But when we're in the right frame of mind, we're actually open to that and can perceive it. And then when we reach that adrenalized state, as Shell Dion says, or fear or surprise or shock, it pulls us out of that. And then we witness those things evaporating, just melding into nothing. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, my theory.
That is a great theory. Because that's what clicked me too, was when you're talking about that. That's the stories talk about how Bigfoot just disappeared too, and how dogmen just disappear too. But what if it's all correlated on our state of mind, like you said? That's
Well, the reason I like that especially is because if it's them, then we're a victim. We're not in any kind of control, or even we're just incidental. But if it is us, then we are facilitating these experiences, and it brings us into a state of or at least the possibility of having the ability to maybe tune it in and control it. But to be a part of the experience, to me, is more empowering than to have something happen to you. You know, that's disempowering. It's like, oh my God, I saw a ghost and then it melted away, and then I don't know what to do because I don't know where it went. It's here. I can't perceive it. It's gone. I'm weak and ineffectual, and this thing is more powerful than me. But if it's our awareness, then we're empowered and we're a part of the process. So I think there's something to it, but you know, it's just my, 5-minute musings. I don't know, but I appreciate the fact that you think it's profound.
I think it's very profound. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
I think a lot of people in chat agree too.
Oh, do they? Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Good. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll let you know when the book is done. All right. So, I got other stuff here to read. I'm just trying to figure out which things I'm reading. Okay, we're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters now for the last half hour. We're going into the cryptid corner. We're going to deal with some of this. This one has to do with a ghost, though. And so it's not really cryptid. Maybe I should go to other ones just because I'll save that one for another time. Here we go. This is wild. Now we're going to go to phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lon Strickler's site. Great site full of so many actual encounter stories and reports that Lon receives, and he publishes them on his site. It's also a great site to find all of the books that Lon has published. He's a prolific author himself. And their research efforts. He has research communities that are involved in looking into the phenomena all over the country. And I don't know, maybe even abroad. But it's also where you can find information on Lon's podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. So definitely check it out. Support that site. The first one we're going to look at tonight is from Tuesday, April 11th, rather. And this is from phantomsandmonsters.com. Fishermen encounter glowing humanoids around Rhode Island reservoir. Yeah, generally you don't like to see your humanoids glowing, do you?
No, it's makes me think they're irradiated ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. As speaking of Chernobyl, Jesse, there might be some glowing humanoids over there. Not sure. I saw some videos from allegedly out of Chernobyl, and I don't know if they're edited or whatever. But one of them was a moose without like a nose.
Bite.
What does that say? It says bite. Don't bite. I don't want any biting going on. There's the ghost of the mosquito I just slaughtered. Fisherman. But what was it again? Oh, the moose. It didn't even have a snout. It was just like a chopped off face. And I'm like, oh, it looked like a moose. It was running around like a moose, but it didn't have the nose part at all. It was just like moose heads flat. And I don't know if that was just creative editing or whatever. I don't know. I never heard anything about it after that or before it, but it was when Don and I were doing some research or looking for footage of things. We stumbled on it. We're like, oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's hear about these glowing fishermen or glowing humanoids in Rhode Island reservoir. And we got to scroll down. Two friends were in a fishing tournament in Smithfield, Rhode Island, and they continued fishing into the night. There, they then began to observe glowing humanoids gathering along the edge of the lake. Lon says, I received the following account. A friend and I were fishing in an evening friendly bass tournament on July 2nd, 1992, from 3 p.m. till 9 p.m. at Smith and Sales Reservoir in Smithfield, Rhode Island. The fishing picked up as the tournament ended, so I convinced my friend to go back out for a night bite. A night bite? Okay. Somewhere around 11 p.m., we were fishing at the end of the peninsula facing the shore with a dark, dank, empty house on the land. Or dark, sorry. No glasses.
Tank.
Dank. Dank memes, man. Sorry. I should just quit. I should just go
What's going on with you
I should
tonight?
just go take a nap. God. I don't know. All right. So that was a dark, empty house on the land. It was very quiet, but I thought a helicopter was coming down in the cove behind the house where we couldn't see, but no noise. I gestured to my friend, but when the lights dimmed, we excused it as vehicle lights must have come down the road and backed away, but we had never seen a vehicle. We continued fishing the shore in plain view of the house when I noticed what looked like children playing with flashlights, moving frantically in one of the rooms of the house through the windows. My fishing partner and I decided people must have come home to the house, even though we'd never seen a car or people, and the power must be turned off in the house. We continued. I don't know, man. Oof. We continued fishing, although we never seen or heard anyone. There was an abnormally 7-foot tall human-shaped figure with a smaller child-sized human-shaped figure, with the larger one looking like it was holding a flashlight looking for frogs and such at the water's edge. The odd thing was the way they were illuminated, almost like a glow in the dark, but we dismissed that as the flashlight reflected on the water back at them strangely. Just then we noticed about 15 to 20 glowing shaped figures all on the shore facing us, all different sizes, and we got freaked out because there was never any noise this whole time, and we were close enough to have heard people walking in the brush near the shore. Well, just as we were getting scared and contemplating leaving, the flashlight the first big human-like figure was holding shined directly toward our boat. My partner said to start the motor. Let's get out of here. Well, as I was starting to set the choke and pull the cord of the small 5-horsepower outboard motor, the flashlight levitated across about 30 to 40 yards of water as I was keeping half an eye on it and starting the motor. When it turned over and I put it in gear, I looked and the light was about 8 feet above our small boat. I never looked back, and it was a short 3-minute ride back to the boat ramp. We hurried throwing the boat in the van. Must have been a small boat. And got inside the van in shock. All the dogs on the lake were barking loudly. We never heard a dog before this. My friend made me promise not to tell anyone, and I haven't until now. What do you think? Was it UFOs? Was it a UFO landing behind? And then these were...
Oh.
That's right to my right. Right over here.
Oh, hello.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the show. Huh. So, does that sound right to you, though? Could it have been a UFO?
That's what it sounds more like than anything else, I'd say.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, too. It's like maybe they're extraterrestrials because it sounds like something lit came down where they couldn't see, and then suddenly these glowing people are appearing with what appear to be flashlights, except the last flashlight flew out after them.
Because as far as spiritual activity or paranormal stuff, isn't it more like the only thing that glows would be like fae or fairy type of thing?
No, I mean there's glowing apparitions reported all the time.
Humanoid, like bright, like that.
Oh well, that'd be more like orb-like stuff. You know, I mean it could be orb-like, but that's not necessarily fae. It could be,
okay.
According to some people, but some people believe.
Oh boy, that's busy over there.
2 of them that time. One to my left, and then one behind me. I guess I'm surrounded. Got some company.
They need to chill.
Huh?
They need to chill out.
Oh, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's like the worst part is that creepy damn noise. I wish they could have made it like a ringing bell or something like ding. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they got this thing that sounds like it's, you know, either parcel tongue from Harry Potter or, you know, I don't know. True. It's crazy, crazy sound. It definitely run, Brent, run. Nah, I never run.
Don't give him fear. That's true.
My running days are long over anyway, brother. Did you not hear? I was mowing today. I was walking behind a mower. That doesn't help at all. And my mower's got the smallest damn wheels on it. So like every bump in the lawn is like, it's like I'm off-roading. It's, I nearly have blisters on my hands from this damn lawnmower, but it cuts grass and the thing pulls and starts like that. So I can't get rid of it because it always works. And I don't know if I should admit this or not, but I've owned that mower for about 10 years now, and it's still using the original oil. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait a sec. Is it
what?
Is it the same one from years ago?
Well, I don't know if I mean I got it when I got out here, so I don't know if you.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
No, that I left each mower with respective properties in the past.
Okay. All right.
It's like I'm not moving that; they can have it. I just go and buy a new one. But yeah, I probably should do better care with my tools. Speed walk, Brent. Speed
it's
walk.
Not broke, don't fix it. It's
walk speed
really
walk.
Fast.
Yeah, it's more that's more my angle right there, is just to walk excitedly. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I've it sounds like I'm full of bravado, but I'm really not. I just normally don't get real freaked out. I'm not putting it out there that I couldn't be absolutely terrified. It's just all my life. The only thing that terrified me was the growling that happened when I was 14. Absolutely terrified me.
The Unknown says the original oil. Hate to tell you this, but Brent, it has no more oil.
Well, then it's running on dreams and the love of fairies. I don't know. It's still running though.
It's running on the dreams.
It's running on my dreams and the love of fairies or something. I don't know. It's still going. I pull it and it goes.
That's paranormal right there. The fact that it still works.
I don't know. I mean, I am good at some things in life, and other things I'm a window licker. I'm just not good. I really am not good at some things. And I don't know if it's character flaws or it's just the way my head works. I don't ever think like, geez, what should I do? I should maybe just get some new oil in that thing. Never occurs to me. Now,
I agree. It wouldn't for me either.
Someday I'm probably going to be mowing and it's just going to go and that's it. And it's going to be locked and solid froze because it basically welded the pistons into place or something. But so far it's working. Let's not jinx this. Okay.
B. Morris's fairy piss. It's all the lubricant you need right there.
I don't know. Maybe we can start a new company.
What, called fairy piss?
Yes.
And it's oil?
Yes, like there's WD-40 and then there's the Portal fairy piss. It's good for a decade or so. So I'm just
WD-42.
Yeah, maybe. Well, whatever the case, it's still working. Let's just keep it positive, shall we? I don't need to replace a lawnmower at this point. Now you're thinking, well, then go change the oil. But no, that's probably not going to happen.
It's not how laziness works, guys. It's not how laziness works.
I'm not. Let me just say that my default, I could very easily be a lazy person. And I have been in periods of my life, but last 7 years, I've been really busting my tail on all of this.
Yeah.
I've been really working hard. I'm in here. I'm in the studio probably 14 hours a day. Literally. What?
Oh, it's just Jessica Ming. Father and son portal piss.
Yeah. I didn't say portal piss. I said fairy piss.
I don't know.
Piss.
This is portal piss.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know how the hell we ended up talking about my lawnmower, but welcome to the show, everybody.
We went from lawnmower to fairy piss.
Keep your expectations low and you'll be fine. If you start you start coming in the door with some kind of expectation, you're going to be disappointed, I'm pretty sure. What do we got for time left?
We have 5-6 minutes.
6 minutes. Well, we can be done whenever we want, but let's see how long this one is. This one we can read. Because it has black-eyed kids in it. And angry black-eyed kids appear at rural Northwest Louisiana gas station. Oof.
This sounds familiar already.
Well, it's kind of new.
Let's read it. Go
From
ahead.
April
Maybe
20th. All right, an eyewitness emailed Dave Schrader about something bizarre that they experienced while working at an out-of-the-way gas station in rural Louisiana. It was November 2012 when I was working at a small gas station in northeast Louisiana. We were the only small shop and 24-hour service station for miles, just off the highway, and I worked the night shift, and I loved it. The sharing of stories with the traveling customers, and that is when the rare customer showed up. It must have been around 3 a.m., and I was cleaning the floors and locking the beer coolers when suddenly the lights went out. Oh, God. I pulled out my cell phone and used it as a guiding light until I made it back to our counter, where I kicked on the gas generator and it lit the parking lot and the hall leading to the register. Then when I looked inside, I could just make out movement of the trees across the street, but otherwise, it was pitch black. I turned on the radio and started listening to the local radio station with its night owl DJ commenting on the heavy winds and cracking jokes between songs. Suddenly, I saw some figures in the dark. I could just make them out, and they seemed to be a group of kids on bikes. There were 3 of them. 2 of them dropped their bikes and made their way to the door, where they just stood there, staring at me. I just stared back for a moment, waiting for them to come in, but they never did. I moved around the counter and opened the door. "What's up, guys? Out kind of late, aren't you?" I asked them, expecting them to come in. "Can we use your phone?" one asked. Their heads tilted kind of low. I felt a little worried as I pulled my cell out from my pocket and offered it to her. "Sure." She looked at me and I saw her eyes. They were solid black, almost like ink-filled orbs. "No, I need the real one," she said. Her face twisted into an angry snarl. I pulled the door closed and flipped the locks. "Nope, no ma'am. You go home and get your mom's phone." Well, they stared at me through the door for a minute longer before turning away and just biking off. The next day, I had my boss check the cameras to get the pictures of the creepy kids, but the cameras have been off the whole time. Now the cameras run off the generator instead of the hall lights. I never saw the kids again. Wow. So that was transcribed from Darkness Radio from 2015. Yikes. That's a creepy story. I don't think I'd ever like to see the black-eyed kids. I think that's one I would just as soon not witness. It's one of those that can just not be experienced.
Maybe I'm forgetting. What is the consequences of like what happens if you do let them in, as far as the stories say and the legends say?
Well, I've heard everything from death to horrible sickness, debilitating infections, bloody noses, feeling ill for weeks. There's very rare stories. The stories are very rare of when people say, "Oh, come on in," but when they do, generally those are really, really dark. And oftentimes they come in, they do something and they kind of disappear into a bathroom and then they just disappear. Like they're just gone. And then all kinds of bad stuff happens. Can be any of those or maybe more. I don't know, but they usually just kind of get in and then disapparate. Like they're now, whatever they are, if they're some kind of embodied curse or if there's some kind of, I don't know, dark energy that feeds off of people after you let them in. But it's kind of curious because it does take part of the vampire legend. Like they have to be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They can't come in on their own. Like there's something about that. They just can't break the threshold of a doorway unless they're invited in. But if you make the mistake to invite them in, then it gets ugly. So don't let them in. I think that's a safe bet. Do not let the black-eyed kids in. What?
RJ Windwalker says, "I met a black-eyed kid. but it was my reflection.
Well, I gave a kid a black eye once. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. Yeah, I guess that's going to be a show. What do you think, Sheldon? Anything in closing? Oh, go ahead.
Cherry said, I live in Albany, Texas, and in the 90s, there was the black-eyed kids sighting there. I did a report on it once in school.
Yeah, that was, I think, Brian Bethel. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was out of Washington State, but I do recall Albany, Texas. Wow. Was that right?
Yeah, Texas. Yep, Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's amazing. Yeah, they're creepy, whatever they are. We've got less than a minute left.
Okay.
Go.
All right. So if you guys want to join our Discord, there's a link up at the top. Join all the wonderful discussion we have there, all the links, all the chats. Otherwise, you can join us at our homepage, paranormalportal.net, which I will put in the chat right here. Okay, go ahead.
All right, guys, this is going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow night with our Saturday show. We'll do some ghost investigating and find out if more stuff comes through. So tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube, Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. So remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, guys. Take care, and I'll see you then. I might be taking attendance, so you definitely got to show up. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.